Hey everybody, welcome to Perfect Edition Comics. I'm your host Perfect, and today we're going to take a look at The Flash, starting line. Let's do this thing. So this is a DC Essential Edition. As we take a look here, you'll see how to spot these on the shelf. The spine has this blue kind of line running along the base of it, and across the top you've got this grey and black checkerboard design. Again, on the top of the front of the trade, you'll see it says Essential Edition, and again has the checkerboard just over here. So these Essential Editions, they look at kind of highlighting the best standalone stories that DC has to offer, and it's a great introduction point. So if you want to jump into The Flash, this is a great trade to pick up. It picks up from the 2011 run and has the first 12 issues. So the main draw card for me is the art of this. The art is really fantastic by Francis Manapul. So here we've got one of the first major splash pages. The way that this is laid out is so dynamic. The fonts and the way that he draws inside of things and layouts are really what draws the eye to this. So as I said, Francis Manapul is the artist. Brian Buccellato is the co-writer and the colorist. So Francis and Brian both write, and Francis does the art, and Brian Buccellato does the colors as well as co-writes alongside him. There are a couple of issues later on where there are other artists. Again, here you can see the great intro work along with the kind of lettering work that are on the intro pages. There are a few other artists in the annual, which is included with the 12 issues here, but really it's layouts like this that shine. So Francis Manapul is just amazing with the kind of different layouts he puts together in this. Again, here's a shot of the Flash running through time, and you can actually see kind of all the different pieces of time that he's running through in the way that he does storytelling. Also, the colors by Buccellato are fantastic. So one of the techniques that are used is actually a style which is kind of an ink wash style. Instead of straight inking, Francis Manapul actually does something reminiscent of old Japanese paintings. So this actually helps to bring more depth and tonality to his work. And then the colors by Buccellato on top of that are done in kind of a watercolor, gouache, opaque watercolor, water media style that actually fades sometimes to transparent in places. So when you match this ink wash inking, which has a sketch-like style to it, along with the gouache opaque watercolors on top, you really get a stunning artistic representation of the Flash. Really, there's nothing out there that kind of tops this for me for this character. So if you're looking for something which shines on the art front, then this is the book for you. So again, over here, you can actually see the way the storytelling changes different timelines and different spaces just by the coloring that's used on the layouts. Also, the covers have some great white and color usage that really makes them pop. Again, the splash page and the intro page for each issue has this great lettering and art combination. Here, Manapul again uses the Flash running through time and kind of shows how he goes and blinks in between different panels to do the storytelling. This collection did win a number of awards for the art that we've just been going through. So in 2011, there was the Joe Shuster Award for Outstanding Comic Book Artist for the first 5 issues, which is the Canadian Comic Book Awards. And also in 2011, there was the All-in-One Award for the Inkwell Award, which was again for Manapul's work with the inks and how he actually does his very specific styling. On this page you can see again how he plays with different forms and different styles of paneling and panel layouts by actually using kind of handprints in which he tells the story in. And this kind of constant playfulness with panel layouts and the way that he actually interprets the art is really what makes this a standout work of his. Down here you can actually see how he kind of breaks the fourth wall and plays along with this feeling of movement, and specifically in this panel that I'm highlighting now, you can see that in this fight to take this guy down, they literally fall out of the panel. It's these little joyful moments that really make this book, again, just something that I really, really enjoyed reading. Here we see another little piece I want to focus on, which shows the dynamic kind of use of environment, character, and just all-around cool moments. And in this one, the Flash is jumping out of an exploding building, kind of throws his suit out in front of him, and then kind of zaps into it in this 3-panel layout to land at the foot of the building, kind of ready to go. This kind of dynamic usage of illustration and kind of superhero all-roundedness is really awesome to look at. So as I page through, I should probably say that there are a few other artists on here in the annual, as I mentioned earlier, that's featured. But really, the heart of this, probably, I don't know, about 10 out of 12 issues are all done by Francis Manapul. Again, look at this intro page layout, the intricate lettering into the ice here, the dimensions to it, the way that he uses perspective. These are just so eye-grabbing, these full layouts at the beginning. And again here, his panel usage, he uses all these small little kind of sub-panels to tell the story. And again, when the Flash is involved, there's always some kind of time travel element or kind of freezing time or speeding up time. And really, the art matches the story in this case and draws you in. And there's just not enough of this in superhero comics where you really see dynamic panel layouts and art matching up with the way out there story. You have a way out there story, but sometimes the art is lackluster and really doesn't match up to that. But in this case, it really does. Here we go again with a page panel layout. So again, he's got the lettering. This is inside of the Speed Force, which, no real spoiler, but this is kind of the heart of the Flash's superpowers. The lettering is here. The coloring by Buccellato, again, with the watercolors comes through in the background. And it's just a joy to behold. This is one of the layouts I just wanted to focus on and talk through, because this really shows, again, kind of time, dimension, and perspective all flowing along one singular pathway. You'll see there's little cutout panels in here as well that kind of give the highlights. And again, Buccellato's watercolors in the background just subtly pop through and give it that little bit more perspective. Overall, the art is just, again, the real thing that carries this. The story touches on things like you can see here, Gorilla Grodd, one of Flash's classic enemies, is in, and it goes through many of the major plot points that you would expect from a Flash comic. This is actually Marcus Toe, who's one of the other illustrators. He does, I think, 2 issues in here, so these are a few pages from him. And then later on there's the annual, which we'll probably page 2, that has a couple of classic artists from the Flash over the last decade or so in that. But here we're back to Francis Manapul. And again, an amazing intro page with great lettering inside of the splash image. I just can't get enough of these. Here again, dynamic layouts on the right-hand side of this page. It looks fantastic. Black, white, color really pops. So here's the annual, which starts, I think it's 4 or 5 parts, and it has a couple of different artists, including right here, Scott Collins, who was a mainstay on the Jeff Johns run, which is probably the biggest modern Flash run in the last decade or so. At the back, in terms of extras, we've got variant covers as normal. There are a couple of really good artists in here. Here's Jim Lee on the left, for instance, with a pretty awesome cover. Gary Frank. So yeah, there's some nice covers in the back, but not too much in terms of extras. It's 12 issues plus the annual, couple of sketches here. So you can kind of see some of the character designs or the redesigns of the Rogues Gallery that were done for the Flash. And that rounds it off. So if we look at the binding, you'll see it's a classic perfect bound. It's a bit of a thicker book with 13 issues. just normal, regular trade paperback glued binding. But yeah, that's the Flash Starting Line Essential Edition. So the DC Essential Editions, they highlight the best standalone stories that DC has to offer, normally like a really great introduction to specific characters. So this isn't the only one. You also get Batman Court of Owls, Blackest Night from Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern. There's also Green Arrow, War of the Clans by Jeff Lemire, and many more. So if you're looking to jump on and get into a character, then these essential editions are normally the way to go. Pretty cost efficient. You're normally getting anywhere from 12 to 15 issues, so kind of 300 to 400 pages. So it's something which is close to the epic collections from Marvel, but obviously doesn't go all the way through a run or subsequent decades of work, but rather just picks out the best stories that DC has to offer. Please remember to like, hit the subscribe button, and remember, stay perfect. See ya.